Hello my art friends, this is Cindy Kromholtz. Today we're going to make, well, what's going to be a class when things get back to normal, and it will be available for me to ship to you all the papers I could ship to you, and then you could watch my YouTube and put it together. So what you would need to have in order to do this is some scissors, a fine and ultra fine black Sharpie, some kind of matte medium, Mod Podge, something like that, and maybe a little bit of paint. But you would not have to use the exact colors of paint that I'm using. You can use what you have. So I don't want you to be worried about that. I can't send you paint, and I mean I could, it would cost a fortune. So, you know, so I'm not going to send you any of those things. You'd probably need a little brush, but not very much materials. Anyway, it would be $5 and I would just ship it to you in a standard envelope. And then you could just watch my video and follow along. So this video for me feels very personal to what's going on in the world right now. I don't know why. I woke up this morning with the Beatles song Yesterday stuck in my head, and it occurred to me how we you know, it's just so ridiculous how we are never happy with what we have, and I'm as bad as anyone else. Always, you know, it's like I feel pretty content in my life, but I do that a lot too. Oh, what if this, what if that? So I don't know if you feel that way or if you've thought about it, but that's why this song came into my mind and why I thought this is perfect for what I want to do. And the other part of this is the Dragonfly. And I'm stuck on it, sorry. Oh well, I'll just figure that out. Yeah, the Dragonfly, it kind of has a lot of meanings. A lot of people feel like it has meanings about, you know, we can regenerate ourselves, sort of. Symbolizes change, transformation, and adaptability. And I am focusing on adaptability because, as I've said before, I believe we are human beings we're very resilient. Which is sort of a form, I think, of adaptability. I don't know, in my head anyway, that's kind of what that means. So that's how this is all getting put together and why I chose things I chose. Dragonfly, the Beatles song Yesterday, and just love. I don't quite have this. This board is, the surface of this board that I'm working on is 11 1/4 by just about 8. So you could easily use an 8 by 10 canvas for this, because you can see I don't quite have enough paper here, which is surprising to me because I thought it was an 8 by 10. So I'll have to figure a little something out with that, but I will. I have just the thing to use. All right, so one of the things we're going to do is, of course, oh, and this is how it would come to you. You would get this piece of sheet music, and you would get a sheet of paper with this on it. And you would get a little piece of this Tim Holtz tissue paper that I'm going to use for the wings. I haven't quite figured out the best way to do the wings here. Let's see, how would we do this? I think, oh, well, that's so easy. It's so easy to see through the tissue paper. That's great. So I'm just going to take my Sharpie And I'm going to lay my tissue paper on top of it. Now, I'm not sure you can see through this, but it's very easy to see through. I hope you can tell by how easily I'm drawing it. And you know, this can be a very sketchy wing. This does not have to fit exactly or anything like that. And as far as the body of the dragonfly, I'm just going to color that in with Sharpie, or you could use paint if you wanted to. So this paper isn't quite, this paper isn't quite wide enough to span, but that's okay. I've drawn a couple wings on here, and I'm just going to scooch it down a little bit and kind of right next to the line where I ended off, and as far over as I can go, because this tissue paper is really cool, so you might as well use every little drip of it. And like I said, this is a sketchy little wing. It's not perfect. Now I need to do the other little wing. Let's see, I'll just go, oh yeah, that works out perfect. So I'm right next to this other wing here, and I'm just drawing that in. Whoops, I went off, but that's okay. Like I said, this little sketchy thing is what we're looking for anyway, so all good. So I'm just going to trim these little wings out, and I'm going to leave it a little bit bigger than the black Sharpie. If you need it to be exact, you know, that's okay. You can trim it down and you can get it exact, or you could actually, when you're cutting the dragonfly out on your paper, you could actually just hold this on it and cut it out at the same time, and then you could just patch in over here a little bit from the leftovers. So there's so many ways to do this. So don't feel nervous about it or anything. It's just very, very simple, and doesn't matter very much really, like I said. So let's see, so that's going to go about like that, and then this one, and then I'm just going to simply, I mean, this is going to look so silly for a minute, but I'm just going to kind of go straight through there. Let's see, I think this one must have went there, and this one went here. I believe it may have gone, this one might have gone here. Let's see. No, I think maybe it was here. I'm not sure. Do I even have it turned there? I think, maybe, I don't know. Well, we'll find out, huh? Let me get these other two cut out so we can start putting this together. I'm trying to work on making my videos a little shorter, because I don't love watching super long ones either. So, you know, just fast forward if you don't want to watch all of something. You can always come, if you decide at the end, oh, I really want to try to make that project, you can always come back and re-watch it. You know, whatever would work for you is just fine. It just doesn't matter very much. I'm just not sure which wing went where here. I've lost it a little bit. Let's see. Oh, maybe that one maybe went there. I don't know. Not sure. Doesn't matter much. You could do this very carefully. You could decoupage the tissue paper onto the wings and then cut it out. There's a lot of ways you could do it if you need to be more precise. I'm not very into perfection, as I've said before. I just like to play and have fun with it. So that's my main objective all the time. Well, let's see here. I know this one went to this, so let's see. What did I do? Oh, maybe that works. That's pretty good. Okay, so I know these are my two top wings, and these are my two bottom wings. And I'm just going to, oops, always put your caps back on or your pens will dry up. So I'm literally going to decoupage this right on here, and then I'm going to go finish it after it's on. It's an easier way to do it, I think. So you just spread the decoupage out with your card. Oh yeah, you'll need an old gift card or credit card, or you can use a brush or your fingers, whatever you would like. It's you know, very, it's up to you. I don't mind whatever you want to do. Now, as I'm putting that decoupage over the top of this, I might as well just lay this down on it because it's got the decoupage on it ready to go. So there we go. See how easy that is? No worries. If you get a little wrinkle, you just smooth it out gently. Do remember to be gentle. The tissue paper is very thin and it's very fragile at first because when paper gets wet, which decoupage does make it wet. Ooh, try not to do that because a lot of times that'll rip your paper. Decoupage does make your paper wet and it can rip easier or get a weird spot in it that you won't like. So just be very gentle, and after you get the first little bit down, it's surprising how quickly it'll dry a little bit, and it's all of a sudden it's not so fragile. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit more decoupage on the top of this. I was a little light on this side of what I had left over. Now, a key with decoupage is to not have too much or too little. The more you do of it, the more you understand the feel for it. So don't be afraid of it. Just start little and you can always add back in. So that's one of the wonderful things about decoupage. Let's see, I think this is also Tim Holtz tissue paper washi paper, washi tape, I'm sorry, that I just happen to have. So I'm just gonna lay a piece of that there to fill in where I didn't have a long enough piece of paper here. Now you could use anything you have. You could use any washi tape. You could use, there's just all kinds of things you could use. I'm gonna do a few little layers here so it looks, a little bit purposeful. And I think I'll put a little down here, but not all the way across like I did up there. It's just wonderful. It just rips. You don't have to use scissors. You can if you want. You could turn it different ways if you wanted to. And I think I'll put one piece right here too. So let's see, how would I send you washi tape? If I could send this to you, I will. I'll think about it and see if there's any way. I'll try a couple things and see if there's a way I could send you a little of that. I'll have to think about that. Right now I don't know what it would be that would work. Well, let's see. I want to do a little bit of work on this background. I have this paint I love. Now this is an expensive paint. It's golden brand and it's called Quinacridone Nickel Azel Gold. And I love it. I've used it on a couple projects you've seen. Oh, you barely need any. That's probably too much. We'll see how it goes. I think I'm just going to simply take a brush with some water because this is going to be, it's just going to be way too much. Water, water, water. Water that down a little bit, smear it around a little bit. It's fun to get drops of it because it leaves, when it dries, it just leaves the most beautiful looking things. Texture, or I don't even know what to call it, but it's very wonderful. Dear, I hate wasting any of it because it's just so, it is expensive and it's just beautiful. So I'm just going to kind of, like I said, I must have a little white paint in that water or in my brush. I don't know which, but I'm just going to smear it around a little bit till I get it. I just want some sun behind here, really, is all I'm looking for. And I want some droplets and what looks really organic, like almost like you spilled your paint and you didn't notice, maybe you just didn't get it cleaned up. Something like that maybe is what I'm kind of looking for. And once you have decoupage down, you can usually get your paint to move pretty well. So That's a fun thing too. So just make it look uneven. You never want mixed media art, you just don't want it to look even. You want odd numbers, you want spread all around. You don't want particular little things. All right, well, that's that beautiful paint color. Oh, I just love it. It does so many different things. I'm gonna add a tiny little bit of blue, just a tiny little bit. And even though this isn't my crazy blue color, it's still pretty pigmented. So I'm just gonna kind of spread that around the same way. Maybe I'll use this bigger brush because I just want to spread a little around. Now, there's no talent needed in this. You do it whatever you love. If you love to have straight lines, then you do straight lines. If you love, just don't do squares of things. That's really all you need to watch for. Don't do squares or triangle-y things or rectangles. Make them organic looking and just move them around a little and it all works out. And it's just, that is the most fun, I think, with the mixed media art. And you know, it always takes my ladies that do classes probably about, I would say, 3 to 5 classes before they really believe me that this is going to work out, it's going to look good, you're going to love it. Don't stress out. But I know it doesn't really come natural. It didn't come natural to me at first either, and yet it was perfect for me because I just can't do things straight. I don't really have it in me, I don't think. Which is why I can't actually quilt. I wish I could. I would love to be able to quilt. All right, I'm going to dry this real quick. If you haven't subscribed to me yet, please do so. And you'll get notifications when I have a new video. And if you give me a thumbs up, or some people call it a like, I'd really appreciate it. And I'd love feedback. I'm pretty new to this video YouTube thing, and I'm working on a lot of things with it that I still haven't figured out. I don't know how to turn my camera around and show you my face or anything. If you want to see me, look at the very first video, and I'm talking on that one because my husband was helping me with that one, and that's why that's like that. But I'm going to work on it a little bit. I'm sorry it's taking me so long, although it's a slow process to figure all this stuff out. Some of it's complicated, and I'm old and I don't understand technology stuff. I'm pretty challenged. I don't use the internet on my phone. I mean, I know most of you will say, what? And my children say, what do you mean you don't use internet on your phone? But I have troubles with it, so I don't do it. I can't see it. It's not worth it to me. Oh well, we all have our challenges, don't we? Nice. You really do need to dry at this stage, or you can walk away and let it dry for a few hours or whatever it would take. The decoupage isn't fully dry on the underneath layers for about 24 hours, but you certainly can dry it to where you can go to the next step, which is going to be cutting these words out and putting them down. But if you didn't dry your paint, you would smear it all over your words. If that's the look you're going for, then you don't have to worry about drying it. But normally, if you find something you like, for instance, if you love the way a paint is on your page, you better dry it, because once they're dry, they're pretty permanent, most things, but until you dry them, they're going to move around. So that it's just a process of what you like, or the look you like. I'm only showing you what I know and what I like. And you certainly can vary it. Another thing you can do if you're tired of drying it is you can get the last little wet places up, and that also leaves a different look. If you can see right here, that's the look you get from that. You get sort of a watercolor thing in the middle that's left a different looking. I'm not sure you can see that. I never really know where to hold it to for you to see it. But let's see, we'll turn it this way for a second. And maybe, I don't know. I've been trying to figure this out, but not very good at it still. I have a whole bunch of these little pieces of tissue paper left, which you would also. And I will probably go back and decoupage some of these down just because they're very fun. But I want to get my words on here first. And how I do this is I just cut straight across and straight it up and cut it off. Now you can use a trimmer if you want to also. Like I said, I don't care if things are straight exactly. I like the look of a let's see. It wasn't produced by a machine. I can't think of the word for that. But that is the look I like, and that's what I go for almost all the time. Not always, but most of the time. Probably put that there. Even when I paint furniture, I don't care if I have a few. Now, of course, you don't want it to look like you are not competent to paint furniture, especially if you're selling it. But I like it to look like it is, that it was hand painted. You know, I love the look of old furniture. And in the, you know, in the 30s, 40s, 50s, at least, I don't know when they started having spray painters, but they didn't have those back then. So, I guess that's what I think about it. I like it to look old and like my grandmother maybe painted it. That's the look I like, and I like it in my art also. Let's see, how should I do this? Yesterday, all my troubles seemed so far away. I guess I'll do that. And then this word, adaptability, you know, is what I'm getting at with the Dragonfly. We are very adaptable. We don't think we are. We don't like change. I don't know anyone that likes change. But we are going through change right now, and we really have no say about it. Not quite sure where I'll put that yet. So it's out of our control. This virus is not. No, I hope we'll find a vaccine and all those things, but even then, it's pretty out of our control. It just is here. It's something nobody made happen. It happened, just like the other flus and viruses and things. So you have to remember we're not in control of everything. We like to think we are, but we're just not. And I don't know if that helps or doesn't help anyone with this process. It's difficult. It's hard for me too. I'm very lonely. But I don't know. I don't know what to say about that, I guess. I'm going to cut these words up, I decided. Just for another little look. I don't know, I guess I felt if I had something I could do about it, I would need to do something, but I know there's nothing I can do about it except to be careful and follow the recommendations. I pray I know you're not all into that, but some of you are. So you understand that I get peace from that, and we all have to do whatever it is we have to do right now to get through this thing. So whatever your way is. All right, yesterday all my troubles seemed so far away, and yet I was always complaining about this or that. Why can't this be this way? Why can't this happen? Good lesson for me. I should have, and I pray going forward, I can just be content with what I have and what everyone, you know, my children, I need to be content with what they have and quit going through this ridiculous thing I go through of being so concerned about what they do or don't have or are doing or whatever it is. They're not doing anything bad. I just need to get over that. So this is actually a really good lesson for me. I guess I'll put this here. I sort of wish I had offset the Dragonfly a little bit now, but oh well. Live and learn again. Like I said, you can learn from mine and decide if you want to do yours a little differently. But I'm okay with that. I can still do exactly what I need to do to make this how I wanted it to look. I'm very happy with it. Let's see. What else would I do to this? I could add some texture tools to it. I just don't know if I need to. I think I'll do my Sharpie work, and then maybe I'll decide if I need more. Maybe I'll add some glitter. Oh, that would be pretty to add some glitter to the wings, because not glitter, but glitter glue or something. I'm all about that. Let's see. Maybe I'll get some of that. Just a second here. You could use school kids, I think it's Crayola brand, but I think there's even a generic-y brand of this glitter glue stuff that you could get at the grocery store. You could use Stickles, which is the best in the world, but it's not that much better than, especially for this project, it's not that much better than the kids' little glitter glue sticks. And this one is Scribbles. I think this is what they used to have a long time ago. I've got so many supplies of stuff, it's ridiculous. I'm trying to use things up. Ooh, I love that. I'm glad I did that. Now I got a little on my finger left, so I'm just gonna smear that on there, and I'm not gonna even think twice about that. So that's that. But I caution you, because don't overdo the glitter glue. It actually takes away from drawing your eye to this. And this is where you want your eye to go. This tape has a little bit of sticky back to it, but if this doesn't stay stuck down pretty soon, I'm going to glue it down. And everyone that's used washi tape knows that sometimes the glue, whatever it is they've got on the back of it, I mean, it's a really low tack thing, but sometimes it just doesn't work. Well, let's see. Gosh, this feels dry enough. I obviously can't go around my wings yet, but I think I can go around my little words. Now, you know I do this little skippy thing, and you could even just look up, let's see, what is it called? Oh dear, can't think of what it's called. Never mind, because I can't think of it. But anyway, you see what I'm doing. I'm just doing a skippy line, and then I'm adding a few dots, and I don't know. I like that look. I'm going to move this to this, because this needs a little more dry time. All right, so now if you're really worried about this being just right, remember you could take a ruler or something straight edged and use it to do your line, especially if you want a solid straight line. That's not what I'm looking for, but you certainly could do that. You could even use, let's see, you could use your card. Let's see if I can show you that. This is an old Joann's gift card. Okay, if you want a really straight thing, you see how you could just do that really easily. So use what you have around your house, you know. That's the whole thing with this. You don't have to go out and buy a bunch of stuff. Well, unless you don't have any. You could probably use Elmer's glue to do this, actually. I don't know. I've never tried that with this, with mixed media art, but I bet you could. That's probably what people used to use before we had all this. Oh, you know, there's Liquitex. There's all kinds of different matte mediums out there, all kinds of brands. I usually just buy Mod Podge or Decoupage because it's inexpensive and it works. Didn't realize my phone quit. I don't understand it sometimes. But anyway, I did most of the Sharpie work. I stopped so I could finish this while you were watching. So again, I'm just going to take my, this is my ultrafine Sharpie, and I'm just going to really make a really sketchy feel. As you can see, I'm just almost like scrubbing back and forth. You could do individual little strokes if you wanted to. It's up to you, however you feel comfortable with it. You could just do straight lines if you want it really straight. It's a little hard with the glitter glue to get that though, because you know, it's not in a confined exact area. You know, I just used my fingers to smear it around a little bit. So once in a while you'll run into that, and the Sharpie's not going to want to really go over that real well. So you have to see how it works for you. So anywhere you had a little white line from cutting it out your Dragonfly, you can just go over it with your Sharpie, and that just takes care of that, and it's all good. I don't know if dragonflies have antennae. You'll have to tell me out there. Let me know in my comment. Maybe if dragonflies have antennas. I can't remember seeing them with them. Another little thing I like to do is just this, like I said, this really scribbly. You could almost, let's see, maybe you take your left hand or your non-dominant hand and try to draw. It's a lot harder. So you'll get a really sketchy looking line. Anyway, I think that's cute. Now when I filled this, the body of the dragonfly and the head in, first of all, I just did it really straight, and then I came back and I did little squiggly things because their bodies are kind of, they have kind of these little round, like a whole bunch of little round things stacked on top of each other. So I didn't make it perfect looking. I wanted to decoupage a little bit of this tissue paper I have left on. Probably not all of it. I'm just gonna tear some up and put it on because I think it's pretty cool looking. I'm even gonna cover up a little bit of my word yesterday. I think you'll be able to see through it, so I'm not too concerned about it. I hope I don't mess that up. I guess I can go over it with a Sharpie if I need to. So it just adds a little bit of texture and things. I think it's cool looking. It's expensive. You don't want to waste it, that's for sure. All of Tim Holtz's items are not inexpensive, but they're amazing. So you have to decide if you want to use it. I don't know. I know a lot of us, we're always hoarding it because we love it and we just don't want to even use it up. But if it just sits there and doesn't get used, I don't know. That's sort of silly too. So I say use it up. That's what I say. You do what you want. If you purchase this from me and you don't want to use let's say you don't want to use this, like I'm doing this little extra tissue paper stuff on this project. Oh, try making a card or another little project and just adding it in and see what you think. So you have lots of flexibility on this. You don't have to do anything a particular thing. So I guess if you want to add the glitter glue to the wings, that's another thing you have to get. But I'm pretty sure there's an off-brand kids, in the kids section, you know, in the grocery store that's very inexpensive. So do you want to just say it's like, I don't know, $3 or something for 5 different colors. That's the only bad part. You get a bunch of different colors, but that's okay. How did I get decoupage all over that? That's weird. It's not great to get decoupage on top of your glitter usually because it kind of dulls it a little bit. So that's just something to keep in mind. Well, I love it. This is exactly what I wanted and needed. I maybe don't love that covered that up a little bit, but it's okay. This font is very sketchy. If you want it filled in more, just do a skippy little line or some dots or something. It's just the font I chose. Remember, I always like to put the year that I did my project so I remember. Well, there it is. I hope you enjoyed this, and let me know if this is something you'd like to purchase from me. Like I said, I think I said a standard envelope, but I meant a business size envelope. It's still just, I think, a stamp, I hope, maybe 2 stamps. But I would just fold the paper up, and then when you get the paper at home, well, you wouldn't want to iron the tissue paper. It's too thin. But the regular paper, like the background paper and the words and the base Dragonfly, if it's got a wrinkle right in the spot maybe where you think it'll be a problem, you could lightly iron it with a cloth on top of it. Or you could, probably when you decoupage it on though, it'll just flatten out, I think. I don't think it'll be a big problem. I'll try to be careful with it for you. Well, I hope you like this. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know if there's anything you would like differently, or I don't know. Thank you again. You all take care out there and be safe.